You're
listening to the RFBL Report with your hosts, Bear and Pat Downsky.
I only realised when I was up in Wolverhampton, the New Forest owner is an absolute cuck.
Truly, the rich get richer.
Juice, because I only drink juice.
We got some typical Peking bullshit.
Here comes 5th place New Forest.
He's cagey, he gets on base, he's a consummate pro.
Warning, things are about to get weird.
Greetings, salutations. Welcome back to another one of the RFBL Report with myself, Pat Downsky, and joining me once again from Footy Mad England. I'm sure they haven't lost yet. The one, the only.
Oh, we haven't lost yet. But the country's already assuming the worst, so, so it's going well,
It could be worse. You could have lost to Croatia.
I mean, Croatia are a good team, though.
Yeah, but I just mean like the whole storyline thing with, the F Croatia and then like the small penis joke and then getting blown up by them. It's just, yeah, you're going to run your mouth about Croatia. You should be prepared for the consequence.
Oh, yeah. Oh, they started well. They were 1-0 up in 2 minutes.
Yeah. But like, I don't think I've ever seen 4 goals in a soccer game. So...
Don't worry, mate. I've seen 9 goals twice, and it's not for the right team.
I saw somebody on Twitter, one of Leafs, the Barilko sphere, asking who should my Premier League team be? Because I'm going to get into soccer, so then 2046 I know what's up. And I suggested Southampton because the futility and constant losing when it counts is a real easy transition for a Leafs fan.
Oh yeah. You get used to it, like.
Also, the kit's pretty sexy. I do like that toque.
Oh, the old red and white stripes.
Oh, buddy.
It's white and
the
red.
The barber pole. Yeah, candy striper.
Candy striper.
Love it. But, yeah, we're back. It's the off season. I think somebody won the championship, but I just couldn't care. No, I'm kidding. Springfield won it on another... what are you going to do, right? Like, it's a good team, and when a good team gets a lot of one-run kind of randomness, luck, they're going to roll. And they were healthy this year. They were locked in this year. They were producing runs. They were preventing runs. Like, the pitching looked pretty strong. They had Flobert. He wasn't back he wasn't doing a historic season like in 2048, but he's certainly good enough that he skews kind of those one-run record results. And Springfield rolled to their second ring.
Yes. Which is not surprising. I think we both had them down as pretty much up or thereabouts by the end of the year.
Yeah, I think I had them on paper as approximately the best team in the CL, but like if they ran into, say, Chicago in round 1 or what have you, like I think they could have been taken down by Chicago. I think Kirkland could have beat them. I know it sounds biased. Castlegar, I think, had a puncher's chance versus them. Like, they certainly weren't unassailable at that kind of top spot there. But good on them. They won. All right, ho-hum, moving on. Off season. I think we're going to try something different. It's kind of like I don't know about you. It's snowed here, and there's a bunch of snow here. I'm drinking eggnog coffees right now.
Yeah,
it's like
you're listing things that I've never heard of.
Eggnog coffee or snow? Both.
Snow.
Do you do eggnog in Europe? I know you don't do Thanksgiving, but like eggnog, is that a thing?
It's more mainland Europe than UK, or at least for me. I very rarely ever have to deal with eggnog.
But do you see it at the store? Like, is it something you can get?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this one I got it prepackaged from the liquor store. And it's like a festive Long Island iced tea because it's got like 6 varieties of alcohol in it, and I didn't check for food color before I put this together. So now I've got a few of these lined up because there's a food color allergy in my house, and I'm the only one that can consume it. So we'll see how sloppy I get off these eggnog lattes. That's an expression, hey? Like getting sloppy off eggnog lattes.
Just down
really,
like shots, you know.
Yeah, I really let myself go on this. But yeah, I think maybe we can say, like, as kind of our season preview, I don't think we're going to predict where everybody's gone because, like, nobody's made any signings or there haven't been really seismic shifts in the trade market. But I mean, like, we could probably say, like, a gift that we think they would want under the tree for each team. That's kind of fun and seasonal.
Yeah, it makes us seem like we care about Christmas.
Yeah, right? I worked at a Walmart when I was a teenager, and they would start pumping Christmas carols in there about October.
Yeah.
So, like, you'd still be selling Halloween candy, and there'd be the Christmas carols just pumping. And yeah, I'm not a big season guy since then, anyways.
Don't worry, I suffered the same fate because I worked at the English Asda, which was owned by Walmart, and Christmas stuff would come in August. And
yes, they build it up.
And as soon as Halloween ends, Christmas stuff immediately gets shoved onto the shelves, and just like, fucking hell, man. Why?
Yeah, big fan.
Yeah, big fan of the Christmas period.
Here's the problem with getting a little festive off coffee, is that you then are both incapable of really doing a lot of things, but you also can't sleep it off. So just a word to the wise. It's something I learned when there was a brief period in my university where I was really into Jaeger bombs, which would be like Red Bull and Jägermeister, right?
Yep, my favorite.
Once I had one evening that dissuaded me from ever going that route again, and it was simply put, I was incapable of functioning but couldn't sleep. Where do we want to start? We want to start in the VL?
Yeah, let's go start with the VL.
The teams I don't have notes for? Let's do it.
Yeah, make you think. You can endure the life of the bear where I just make up shit as I go along.
Yeah, pretty much. But let's start with our kind of VL champion division, the Asian division of all places. Shanghaied their way into an unlikely playoff run by just grabbing every international free agent they could, including some that were just kind of gift wrapped and left on their doorstep under the tree last year. Jarno van Vindegaarden came essentially as advertised. He was a 6'4" center fielder, played elite defense, like not quite Gold Glove because there's a bunch of teams that run just sentient gloves in center field, but like
not me.
For a dude that's also raking with the club, really good defense. He really helped lead them to that. He's given a Rookie of the Year for his trouble. Which, okay.
Thoughts?
On what? The Rookie of the Year?
Yep.
I don't know where I stand on that because I do exclude like the rookies that come over from international free agency. Like Min-Soo Kim on his team, Jetsam, or Christian Collado. Like, I don't really include those guys in it because presumably they've been playing pro for several years overseas before they come over to the major leagues in this case. I don't know where I stand on an independent free agent. I feel like I might have left him off my ballot, but I don't feel confident in that decision. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I get you.
But what do we think? What would be under the tree? They already got something last year with that center fielder, Tam. What do you think they would want to see under the tree this year, Bear?
I think they probably want a major ace, maybe like some pitching rotation, because you're just
like a real Alexander Boss kind of guy.
Yeah, one of those.
I think my thing for Shanghai, what I think they'd want under the tree, is they would like to know whatever PEDs Bill Rancourt was on, and they'd like to be able to distribute those.
Share it, buddy. It's time to it's time to enable your team.
Well, I just mean he was a monster this year in a lot of ways. He led the league in wins. Like, he had 19 wins. I know pitching wins like snooze, right?
Yeah.
But for a guy with 35 control and 40 stamina to pitch as much as he did, be healthy for the entire year, and like pretty effective, like it's an outlier. His BABIP was the lowest in the league. He was only allowing 6 hits per 9, and he wasn't walking as many as he has historically. So, like, yeah, whatever PEDs that man's got, distribute them to the rest of the group, because that would go a long way towards perhaps solidifying the one weakness on that franchise. Moving along. They had such a good year, though. Damn. Everybody they had hit. Yeah. And I don't know that they're going to be as lucky with that performance this year. There's now some holes in the lineup as well. Like, I'm looking at it. Let's take a look at I want to see the graphical depth chart.
The graphical depth chart. There we go.
No left fielder is a problem.
But they're easy to obtain, though.
Yes, like that's not a big issue. But I mean, like, they're kind of ideally maybe an upgrade on right field on Bill Holder, who I guess won the Gold Glove, but I don't know how much surplus value he's bringing. He's sub replacement last year. But really, if you're shopping for a left fielder and a DH, like, whoop-de-doo. They have a starter at first base, third base, shortstop, second base, center field. They've got good defense up the middle. Like, their second baseman and their shortstop are both pretty good defenders. They have one of the only catchers that can consistently hit. So, I mean, like, this team's in pretty good shape. They're in pretty good shape. I think that they could be a problem for the rest of the division, especially if they figure out kind of the pitching situation.
Especially, I reckon Shanghai would be pretty good for the next 5 to 6 years, at least. They're, like, all their players are pretty young as well.
Also, that second round pick from the last draft, Do-Hyun Lee, has kind of exploded a little bit. The good exploded for a young pitcher, not the Castlegar kind. But he's looking like a really nice piece, too. He's the 19th ranked prospect. They got him the second round. I was really hoping to sneak him.
Oh.
Yeah. Fuck.
Yeah. Always a good fan of lefties as a lefty.
Yep. So let's move along to the Beijing Bernedoodles, who went on a bit of a miracle run themselves. They were 86-76. They were second in the Asian division. They scored that free wild card and then ran into some bullpen problems, I guess, when it counted the most against Shanghai. But again, this...
So what do you think they're going to need to solve this year? Well, maybe fix the pitch, the relief side of things.
Well, I'm looking at things here, and it seems like their shortstop is adequate. Like, Tommy Reyes is fine. Yep. Former Gold Glover. Like, that's a pretty good glove guy. Looks like they could use a center fielder potentially. Like, I guess Jorge Perez is fine too. Jorge Perez could play.
Yeah.
So I think they've kind of got their outfield looks like a strength. They've got VL Danny Gutierrez with Riley Hussein on playing third base, absolutely smacking the ball for power. I don't know how that guy's 36. Where did he even come from?
He came from the Redondo Beach Neons as a free agent from Aruba.
Yeah, and it looks like he just hung out in their system for forever. Got traded with Paul Colding and has been a mainstay in Beijing since. But 2-time Silver Slugger. He hit really good last year. It looks like maybe a second baseman might be in order. I think there's some placeholder types that they could use. Like, they could use Nordqvist. They've got a reasonable first baseman in Shisho Hori. Who I think is actually like a cromulent outfielder too. Like, he's a reasonable outfielder. So something to be said there. They acquired Nelson Ortega as well from Minneapolis, who proceeded to not hit for them. But they have the other good hitting catcher in Coeli.
Yep.
They've got some good defense in center field and shortstop. I feel like for their wish list is what would they want to see under the tree?
Pitching. Lots of pitching.
Their pitching. I think their pitching is good though. Like, I really like 1 through 5. That rotation, it seems pretty good.
Well,
no?
I'd say pitching, but it's like just fix the bullpen in it, basically.
They were third in runs against. I think they need. I think they need to fire Buck Showalter as their AI manager. I think that's what goes under their tree.
Oh yeah, in the last game. Why is my closer not closing the game?
So, like, you're a pretty new baseball fan, hey Bear?
Oh yeah.
Do you get the reference when I talk about Buck Showalter? Because I can fill you in.
You might need to fill
okay. Baltimore Orioles. This is pre-dismal Baltimore, where they've been crap for like a decade since this. This is how bad Buck Showalter's bullpen decision-making hurt that franchise, is it's been like a decade of crap because they were so demoralized. But basically, they had a closer. It was like Zach Britton or something, who was having one of the greatest seasons by a reliever in the history of baseball. And they had a chance to bring him out in a one-off, like a winner-take-all. I think it was with the Blue Jays. And they didn't bring him out. They threw out like one. You know how you shift one of your bad starting pitchers to the bullpen?
Yep.
In the playoffs.
Oh, I think I actually remember the story.
Yeah, they threw out.
He's the New York Mets manager now, isn't he?
I don't know. I don't even know. But like they put out Ubaldo Jimenez instead, and he promptly gave the Chase the lead. So because they held back on using their like 5-WAR closer, the guy was almost 5-WAR. They were saving him for the save situation, and as a result, they lost. And it feels like Beijing could use a little less Showalter in their AI manager. That's, I think, what I'd put under their tree if I was being nice.
Let us have staff again so we don't have Buck Showalters as our AI managers.
All right. Let's move along. Peking. Ducks Dynasty dead? Question mark.
I believe they accepted their fate and probably starting a rebuild.
Seems like Pedro Alvarado looks to be done here as well. 3 more years on his contract. You hate to see it.
Well, no.
But he's had 2 bad seasons back to back now. Is the game up for Mr. Alvarado? But I think what I would say, put under their tree, fountain of youth. Because like they still have good players, right?
Bring back the good old days.
They've got good players, really good players.
Oh yeah.
But
they're all old.
They're running a retirement home. Like,
how many players are older than you in this team?
older than me? Well, that's depressing. I'm not playing professional baseball for the Peking Ducks.
I know, but I think that's a good bar to work out if your team is too old, isn't it?
There's at least 2 that are older than me. And there's a handful of them that are the same age. 1, 2, 3. All right, there you go. So there's 2 guys that are older than me, and there's 3 or 4 that are the same age. That gives you an inclination.
I think the time is probably up while still causing some chaos in the league.
Ingo Toedt still led the league in home runs. He had 60 dingers last year. So, like, something to be said. He's over 700 now. I don't think he makes 800. And I don't think that's a controversial thing.
I reckon he'll make 800.
You think so?
Yeah.
We'll see. His offensive attributes have been declining for a year and a half.
All he needs is 2 seasons at the current rate he's going at, so...
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, oh man, you're going to make me look it up now.
And he does have to play the Bears, the men.
You know what? I guess Victor Torres started falling off hard at 37. So, like, I think that's where my take on this goes is I feel like I know Toet's better than Victor Torres. Like, I'm not stupid, but I just mean like Victor Torres was a pretty good hitter his entire career. Yeah. And it just hit a wall at 37. He was playable afterwards, but I mean, I think he had like 60 home runs from 37 to 40 after having 60 in 2 seasons before that. So yeah, different caliber of player, but like, I think it's a coin toss.
Yeah, it is going to be a coin toss because you never know when a player is going to die. Like, some people like Ingo Toedt will die at like 30 or 29.
Yeah, and I mean, everyone's favorite Cinderella, Alex DeLeon, got a rib injury for 4 weeks at like 31 and then just immediately fell off.
Yeah, exactly. Or you get someone like Ben Sullivan, the Holy Prince, that survives till he's 45 and still playing. Yep.
There's still some good players here. Like I think Scandal is a pretty reasonable piece in the rotation. Joe Verhoeven. Verhoeven. I think he's pretty good too. Like, good player, good pitches. I think he's hurt by Peking's Park.
Yeah, he has to go to a certain team in the Virgin League to express his greatness.
I mean, if that guy played for the Bears, he would be done for 12 months right off the hop. Yep. But then he'd come back and he might put up better numbers just because of the lack of home runs compared to the very active outfield in Peking. But Peking still has a couple elite relievers. They still have a couple guys who could have good seasons in the lineup, in the rotation. I don't think they're dead, but they're definitely, the dynasty, I think, is over. The dynasty's over, and I think they're looking to retool at the least and possibly go to a burn-down rebuild.
Yeah, I think.
Anyways.
But it's Oliver, so you know it's going to be done quickly and efficiently, so.
Yeah, like, there's some guys that know how to do... There's some guys who know how to do it, and that certainly seems like one of the guys. Anyways, moving along, Pyongyang.
The Yang.
The Yang. What would we put under their tree?
A third baseman.
No way. How does he not have third baseman? He has a million. He drafts 1 million of them. It is the third base capital.
That's more the tug to the fact that they only ever have third baseman. They don't need any other type of player in their team. It's just a team of third basemen. I think they have two, don't they? Coming at the moment.
Okay, so for Pyongyang. Okay, you want to know what I'm putting under their tree?
Go on.
A mulligan.
A mulligan.
Two mulligans.
All right.
I think that I would put 2 mulligans for those trades that they made last offseason. We talked about making a kind of a step back to make a step forward.
Yep.
I feel pretty much in hindsight, like hindsight being 2020, those were clearly missteps. I mean, both players were on the ballots for the Holland trophies in the respective years. Hidehiro Matsumoto with Halifax was a very strong pitcher, and Carl Jolly actually won the Holland in the CL in a contested race with Gear Still. But I mean, like, it feels like the wheels fell off the cart on the run prevention side of things. And if I was putting something fantastic under the tree, a mulligan, because this team looks a lot different with 2 of those pitchers going 1-2 and then slotting everybody down a couple of rungs, you know?
Yeah. I mean, the thing with Pyongyang is they just love their draft picks. Fuck the team. Draft picks, baby.
The man is here to draft, okay? I will say I still do like the pitching. Like, these guys, the issue here is that the starting pitching looks like it's breaking through. Like, there's not a guy that's 30 in that rotation. Little less consistency. Like, Nesty Roca just came up. He was a reliever last year, but like, he looks like he should be a cromulent starter.
Yeah, he's going to be solid.
I'm a big believer in Justin Brophy. Like, I don't think the Gar wins the 2048 championship without what he did in relief. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he pitched 15 innings of 237 ERA plus or 26 FIP minus. Like, 74% above kind of like the average contributor there. Dude was filth in the playoffs, and I have a lot of time for Justin Brophy. But the plan's coming along. They got lots of prospects. What are you going to do? They got Neil Patel with that pick to trade one of their pitchers there, and Neil Patel looks like an incredible shortstop. I don't know why he's got him pitching, but I mean, I guess, okay, I do know why he's got him pitching. It's because technically he can pitch. But, I mean, I don't know that like a 50, 55, 40 pitcher, like just to go with raw ats there. But I don't know that.
But his defending at the mound is 90. It could be a potential 95 though.
Yeah, but I mean, he could be an elite shortstop. Look at that bat. It's already coming along, right? Like
that bat is like first baseman, like left field position, like level.
Yeah, he hits like a left fielder and he fields like a shortstop. Like that's a pretty ritzy prospect. That's a nice prospect to have. Speaking of third baseman, he does have a couple in his system. Well, I use air quotes for Carlos Hernandez because I don't think he's an amazing third baseman, but he looks like he's gonna rake, right? Like the dude, wherever he plays, it's gonna be a bat first position, be it left field or third base or first base or DH. Like that bat's gonna play somewhere. I'm a big Theo Fisher stan. I think that's probably the third baseman moving forward. I really like Theo Fisher. His bat's probably a tier below Hernandez. Just it has similar upside, but like his current is lesser. But the glove is like actually like that could be a Gold Glove third baseman.
I probably
really like that. So
I'd probably play like Hernandez like first base, and then have Fisher at third.
I'll tell you what I would do here is I would play Hernandez at third base this season. And when Fisher looks ready to break through, he'd flip across the diamond or he'd shift into left field. Because, like, left field's another kind of spot where they're weak. They're running a glove guy in left field.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, why not bring them both up, you know? Fuck it.
Well, Theo Fisher right now, he played okay in AAA. But it was like he only played 187 plate appearances, 50 games about. Yeah. I feel like I would wait to see him jump up again in attributes to be ready to handle it. Because like bringing him up when he's a 40, like below average in contact, power, I, avoid K, like I just don't want to compromise his upside by bringing him up too early.
That's where you're wrong.
Something that
when has it gone wrong for the Bears?
Never. It never has gone wrong. But I mean, I would give him like at least half a season in AAA. Totally not manipulation of the contract. But I would give him half a season in AAA minimum, just to see if those odds will sneak up a little bit. Because like, if a guy is an above-average defender, but is average at least with his numbers for offense, like I feel like it's maybe not going to compromise him as badly as if he comes up and just gets overwhelmed by the pitching there. Something to just keep in mind. But like, I think the future is bright here. They're going to be a problem once they figure out the pitching side. No, once they do the thing. Anyways, let's go to everyone's favorite division, the European division.
Go. Right, time to start with Zurich then.
Okay, let's start with Zurich. What would they have under the tree? You know on those CD players, how there'd be a button that would kind of repeat the same track?
Oh yeah, like on Spotify. Modern day era.
Oh yeah, there you go. I think Zurich, what I'd put under the tree, what they would want is one of those for their season. Because I don't want to sound disrespectful or anything, but this was a very lucky season in a lot of ways. Joe McCarley being a very good pitcher, that's a look.
Have you not seen how unlucky Zurich are always, though?
Yeah, but like last season, it was concentrated. Like everybody played good. Tim Easterly, in what was his rookie season, that's I think Easterly and Havlicek both were in their rookie seasons. That was 1 and 2 on my ballot for Rookie of the Year. Those guys, I think that was who I had for Rookie of the Year because I discredited the Shanghai guy.
Yeah. Maybe
I shouldn't have done that, but like when you have 2 of the best 3 rookie seasons and they're elite in their own right there, that's something. Henrik Hansen captured that upside that he'd been looking for. He took that next step. Like that was big. Liam Nasbaum kind of fell off a bit offensively, but like was still a very quality glove type guy. Benjamin Peterson had himself an okay year. He held the fort at shortstop. Ivan Contreras won his second Holland trophy. Like he had a real bounce back there. My Anglo-Saxon tongue can't say that word, but his closer, Jesus.
Verwijmeren.
Yeah. Oh boy. He had his best season. He had his best season in his career, probably. It looks like 2046 might have been better for the kind of the immediate results, but like that R War. He had his best season by R War. So, like, if he could repeat that, I think he probably takes it. If you're getting 3 Arbor out of Joe McCarley, who looks like most people's AAA starters, I think he takes that. I don't think he doesn't object. He doesn't ask twice.
No, not enough luck. More luck next
Sergio Gonzalez was a real clutch ad. Like, I'm not going to take away from the season these guys had. They were really good. I think they would take another season like that in a heartbeat.
Oh, yeah.
I think they led the league in the positive expected wins delta. Like, I think they were +8 or something, +10 maybe. So like they're genuinely good. Zurich is genuinely good at this point. I just think there was some outlier kind of performance in a few places where they'd be like, yeah, hell, sign me up.
They were a +10.
Yeah, there you go. I think on the other side of things, I think Castlegar led at -8.
Yep. I know how that feels.
Indeed, it always seems to be a team in the Euro division that leads in the plus, hey?
Yep. And it's never the Bears, so let's move on.
All right. What would we put under the tree for Kyiv, who finished second in the division? They had a real strong season out of Maverick Wadji, who had a bounce back, was second in the Holland voting. They had a real powerful lineup. Zachary Dees, who somehow got jobbed on the MVP despite having another 9-war season.
Yeah, it's not good enough. I don't know about you.
He's a 6-time MVP. That's so silly. He should have won the MVP at age 36. That's just crazy. He's so good. What would we put under the tree for Kyiv?
Is it another foundation of youth?
A fountain of youth? I don't think they're old.
Yeah, they're getting there.
What would I put under their tree? Maybe some of those Bill Rancourt PEDs for their starters who fell on hard times. They let Pete Stevens and they let Flores both walk because they had fallen on real tough times. So some sort of miracle drug to keep the starting pitching going. I think that would be what they'd want under the tree, because that's what ended up ending their season versus Shanghai. They got Shanghai, didn't they?
They got Shanghai.
Yeah, they just gave up a ton of runs. I feel like the offense was the problem during the regular season, and then in the playoffs it just turned to pitching. So yeah, just one more piece. I think Kyiv could use just one more piece, or some of them PEDs. Keep some dudes healthy, keep them performing.
Yeah.
The Roger Clemens regiment.
Just need a little bit more luck. Just a little bit.
Just a bit more. Okay, moving along. I still think Kyiv's gonna have. I think Kyiv's gonna be good.
Kyiv is still decent, but they're not gonna be nowhere the same as the powerhouse they were before.
They need a third baseman. Like they could really use a third baseman.
Has quite a few third basemen.
I do too, actually. Just saying.
It's a certain Asian team that we already covered.
Oh yeah, because there's a certain Pacific team that has like 3 of them.
Oh no. I can see the name on my screen right now.
Indeed. But yeah, maybe, you know what? Maybe the solution here, and hear me out before we move to the Isle of Man, maybe the solution is just to make Sean Atteridge a third baseman.
Ooh.
I don't think he'd be an elite one with the glove by any means, but I mean, like, he could certainly hit. He hits like a third baseman, and that frees you up using the to use the DH spot for Chasovoy, who is hurting.
Yeah.
Likely to be hurt. But like you could probably do something like that and use Van Een left field. I know that's not ideal given his own fragility, but you're then plugging the holes you have in your lineup with your own guys that you're already paying, you know? Like Van Een is going to cost you $8 million next year regardless. Might as well use him. That's probably the plan, truthfully. I don't love Archibald Meyer in right field, but he certainly was good enough last year. He was almost a Gold Glove winner, so
yeah.
There you go. He also has one of the good catchers.
Oh yeah, I want one of those.
When you can be a 3-WAR catcher whilst hitting like a 78 OPS plus and less than 10 home runs, that says a lot for your defensive game.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. That makes a nice world difference, especially for your pitchers as well.
Yep, he was worth 20 20 runs last year with framing. That's wild. Okay, Isle of Man. They finished 3rd in the division. They snaked that from the Bears in the last kind of sim. Did well offensively, did poorly defensively. What would you put under the tree for them?
Well, they just extended their closer to 16 million for 4 years. So, I think they just need to fill. There's a lot of roles that they need to fill, and they're plugging it with putting the money in the wrong places.
I tried to set you up for that one-liner.
What, a new GM? Is that?
Yeah. You said it off camera or off microphone before, and I was like, "What would you give him under the tree, Bear?" And you're just like, "Well, they got a bunch of holes to fill." It's like, "Oh, come on, man!"
I gotta sound intelligent and not just go full fucking
ship sailed.
Skip Bailey.
I will say that Isle of Man's system looks pretty good. I mean, like this isn't a team that's forced into a harsh rebuild because they don't have anything in the pipeline like some others. They seem pretty good. I really like that Francisco Hernandez. That was a scouting discovery naturally. Looks like he could be a really good center fielder. Like, I know everyone's fixated on the Shanghai BS of their center fielder, but Francisco Hernandez is going to be one of those guys, I think. His splits aren't even that bad. So, like, if I were putting something under their tree, I would put continued luck on the international sphere, because they seem to get an awful lot of players from international free agency.
Oh yeah,
awful lot of players from signing the international free agents or scouting discoveries or whatnot. Like that 3rd baseman they drafted, 16th overall, Oyama. Yep. That was a dude I wanted pretty bad, and he looks good. At 18, his contact is already growing. You know, that outfielder he got, Sheep or whatever, he's looking great too. Like, still, it's all potential to be realized, but like that's a nice piece to get in the crapshoot that is the international free agency period. So that'd be my thing for him. I think this team should continue to hit, ? Like, I don't think there's too many massive defections. Do you?
It's reasonable. Their outfield is a bit... Their infield is good, though.
They lost Osamu Seki, so they kind of need a first baseman or a DH type.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
But they're easy to get come by, so it's not...
Easier, for sure.
The bigger issue is the pitching, I think.
Yeah, I'm just looking at their Isle of Man. Exactly break even on their offseason so far. They enter the offseason having only losing 4 WAR. Yeah. Considering Shanghai and Kirkland are projected to lose about 12, Kiev projected to lose 10.
Well, that's
not a bad place to be in.
That's the current state of things before all the chaos begins.
Yeah, no, I know they're going to add some more in the offseason. I also don't know that they have a huge amount of money to play with. Right, so there's going to be some questions there. Anyways, moving along.
No, they have 5 million.
Yeah, there you go, 5 million. Not going to fill very many holes with that. Almost like paying your closer 16 million instead of trading them for some pitching prospects or something might have been a bad call.
Yeah, it might have been a decent idea, but what can you do?
What can you do, indeed? Well, the thing is, too, though, if the player's popular, you want to keep the player, you think you're just unlucky or you might have a bounce back for whatever reason, maybe that's not the wrong call. The number's awfully big. That's a big number.
Oh, yeah. I don't know many teams that have spent 16 million on a closer, but each to their own.
Well, If they're pretty good, they're pretty good, right? And if you look, his numbers were probably inflated by the balls falling into play a little bit more than they have historically. His K rate actually spiked upwards. Like that's a really good. That's a good closer. That's a good closer.
But it's one of the last things you need to worry about when you're a team trying to rebuild.
I don't know that they're entirely rebuilding. I feel like they might be waiting for Kyiv to fall down, and then there's another free wild card, so to speak.
Ah, yes, the free wild card. Oh, it begins again.
It will never end. Listen, if whatever done sticks around until the end of time, so is free wild card. I'm sorry, I don't make the rules. What do we look at? What the fuck happened to the Bears last year? Sorry, I just looked at the team.
Let's talk about the start in ERA that was basically 5 throughout, apart from Samuel Grimes.
Okay. So you tell me. What happened here?
A lot of pain. What I need is more Englishmen, right? What I figured out is the best players on my team tend to be English. So...
That's an awfully head-ass way of looking at it.
By adopting as many English players as I can, I reckon I can take this league by storm and become the new Minneapolis and have my dynasty for 20 years just by recycling English players over and over again.
Sorry, I'm looking at your team right now, and who are the English players?
Oh, I had Samuel Grimes. He's the only one that's good.
Okay.
He'll produce well.
Oh, man. Do you know what? The Bears had not a terrible... They did not have a terrible year. Like, well, they did, but I mean, like...
Oh, no.
Somebody...
Or, like, if you look at people... Like, if you just look at black and white as a absolute chimp that I am, and you look at the war, you go, oh, that's pretty good. And then you look at the Bears and you go, oh, it's the Bears.
I don't hate Bobby Padilla.
Oh, well,
Padilla?
Yeah, I'm a fan now.
He seems like he could almost play shortstop as well.
I don't care, Ram, so I play him shortstop.
Okay. Because I'm just looking at it, and it's like, he and Ciora, Ignacio, they appear to be approximately comparable defenders there.
Yep.
So that's not bad. It's not terrible. I'm just laughing because nobody had any power. There's no power on this team.
What power?
Yeah, well, I home run power, I guess.
Who needs power when you can hit the ball?
Well, I mean, I guess you were 6th in runs scored.
Mm.
6th in starter ERA.
2nd in on-base percentage.
Okay, fair enough. I'm laughing because you did not have a single 20 home run guy. You did not have a single player hit 20 home runs. That's what I'm talking about there. I'm looking at this, and your team leader was Esteban Tenori, who hit half his home runs with Sunnyvale before he got there. And the other guy was 12 for Sluggo. And it's not like he didn't play a full season. He normally misses a bunch of time, but Sluggo had himself...
He played a whole season, like...
Hey, he played a whole season. He just didn't play real good.
What I did to keep Sluggo going was give him a few blowjobs. And that kept him going to finish the season.
Yeah, he finished something. 91 OPS plus, probably not the best use of, what was that? Ooh, 40. So, 12 million? That's not a bad deal.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad.
Someone's covering like almost half. That's not bad. I think I'd have faith that he would bounce back a little bit this year. You know, and if that fails, then you can always try and flip him at the deadline. Same with Tenori. Like, there's some guys here that you could flip.
Oh yeah.
Especially like there's all these teams that are like, what do I do in left field DH?
Oh, well, I've got plenty of those, man. I'm setting ready for the left field DH debacle.
Okay, well, what I would put under the tree for the Bears is one more piece.
One more piece.
One more piece. Maybe a piece that could hit the ball out of the park once in a while.
Right. I want to say though, I still have 2 of my first round picks and $72 million dollars to spend.
Oh my! And Tizfilla is coming back.
Yeah, Casadilla's coming back.
Yeah, Tizfilla. So like the thing is, Samuel Grimes could be your 5th starter, like legitimately. Like that guy could be a 4-5 slotted appropriately. Zavala could be like a 4-5. Like some of these guys that are kind of coming up.
Yeah.
Those guys could be 4-5s, and you could let Castaneda, Kesfila, and Luskin carry.
Yeah. I'm actually such a huge fan of Grimes, Samuel Grimes. Man does always puts in work whenever I see him.
Was the only Englishman on the roster? Yeah, okay.
Yep. Actually, I think... Do I have two? Sure I have two. No, I don't.
Well, the other one's not a starter. Let's put it that way. Like if you got another Englishman, they're not starting for you.
Yeah. It's okay. I'll find another one at some point. And we begin the conquest.
There you go. Let's move along. The Atlantic, the BS division. I cannot believe the Woodcucks didn't make it.
Oh, the Woodcucks, man. Oh.
Halifax made it. Like Halifax just bashed their way to it, despite having being 11th in the league in runs against. Like, what's a 12-team league? Okay.
The power of Joel.
I have something put under the tree here.
Go on.
For Halifax. I think that they would like continued. I think Benedict Eugen. I think they would like to have him continue to do what he's been doing. Because he had some miracle BS down the stretch for Halifax. A 178 ERA plus, a 12-1 record with a 246 ERA. That dude was on complete roids down the stretch. The guy he got in what trade was that even?
It's from Zurich.
Yeah, I know he got him from Zurich, who got him from me. But yeah, Sergio Gonzalez. He traded Perkins and Gonzalez and got a bevy of kind of prospect types, and Eugen was one of the guys. The now guys, but yeah. Some more inspiration for Benedict Eugen. Or you know what, conversely, maybe a little less weed. Little less weed when it came time for arbitration, because I know that he was intending to not pay Antonio Juarez $25 million next year, but he I guess forgot.
So I'm way the big boo boo.
Yeah, but at the same time, like he is right. Like if that's the worst contract you have, like the guy looks like an above average shortstop.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he played pretty good for Halifax down the stretch there.
It wasn't
right?
like
and
he was detrimental to the team, so.
Yeah. Again, like I think he was pacing for approximately -6 zone rating at shortstop, and I mean, if you're gonna hit like above 100, like up where he was this year, like then at 116, that's probably a trade-off you make.
Oh yeah, definitely.
He's contributing far more offensively than he's taking away defensively. But I think Halifax still could be in it. They're going to bash their way to it. Jim Corbett, oh, what a season. What a season for Jim Corbett. Silver Slugger, 175 OPS plus, 46 dingers. I don't know where he got that guy, but I can't imagine. No, nobody would trade a player that good.
I am looking at acquired, and it says trade with Chick. 24th of January, 2048.
No, nobody would trade that guy. Like nobody would trade something so good for like a shortstop or something. Like a kind of mediocres.
My bad.
I assume Halifax signed him in international or something. Maybe drafted him.
Drafted him in the first round from the 10th overall pick.
There you go.
Good job, Joel.
Good job, Joel. Good job drafting.
I'm not gonna lie. I was reading the date and I was thinking, what's the 1st or the 24th? Oh yeah.
All kidding aside, yeah, that guy was a kind of throw in, I think, or I shouldn't say a throw in, but he was part of the trade for Hampus Amdahl, who has been worth since being traded minus 1.8 WAR across 2 seasons. So
not bad.
Not bad. It could be -3, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Could be -6. But yeah, Halifax has a couple things going on this off season. Like, who did they end up losing? Aratov. Aratov wanted a ton of money. Ranchikov.
Yeah, I think he
lost a center fielder. I don't know. There's some holes to fill.
Yeah, but it's not too bad when you just look at it overall. It's only like Eratov, the major loss.
Yeah, you're kind of looking at it and you're like, okay, so they need to find a left fielder? No, they don't. Not really. Paul Atwood can play left field adequately.
But you can find someone who hits one war on a pretty cheap at left field if you really want to just go like.
Yeah. I mean, Paul Atwood was like a 116 OPS plus hitter last year. He's worth about 2 WAR. Like he's average starter. He hit 29 bombs.
Yeah, exactly.
To put that in perspective, he hit 2+ times the Bears' leader in home runs. Anyways, moving along to your favorite and mine, the Woodcocks.
The greatest team in the league. God bless the Cape Breton Woodcocks.
I don't know how they won so many games without scoring any runs, dude.
Right. The important stat is, when you play a game, whether it's football, whether it's baseball, is the fact that you have more points than the other team.
Yeah, I guess. I'm just laughing. They scored like 40 less runs than you.
And that's quite impressive since I don't hit a ball.
Yeah.
Well, I hit a ball, but I don't hit it for homers. I
mean, like, they had 5 players out of their 9. Actually, 6 because of the guy that's walking Medina. They have 6 players out of their 9 that would have led your team in home runs by, like, a margin.
This is going to be like a running theme throughout the rest of this now, isn't it?
I just like home runs, man. I just like home runs. The Woodcocks. What would we put under their tree?
Cape Breton doesn't need anything under the tree other than me.
Okay. So Bear says he's going to put himself under the tree, which, okay, sounds naughty. If he makes the nice list, I would say some fucking runs. Put some runs under the tree. Because, like, 10th in runs scored, 11th in batting average, 11th on base, 11th in WAR, 11 weighted on base, 9th in homers, 9th in stolen bases. Like, they need to find some way to score some fucking runs.
Right, I like to say, one of the teams that he's beaten home runs doesn't count.
Yeah, I guess, right? Because it's the Bears?
The Bears.
And
I hit 108 compared to, 127 I think I just saw?
Oh, no, he has 187.
Oh, no.
Yeah. He hit like 80 more home runs than you. That's 79, exactly.
That's not too bad. I eat those.
Okay.
That's only 4 players worth.
Yes. I'll go with you on this adventure. I will say he did land a whale of the draft last year. Alex Rodriguez. 2nd overall, he looks like he's going to be the next good catcher. So there's some stuff to look forward to. It's kind of fun because the Woodcocks have kind of a surplus of catchers? Question mark?
Yes.
Julong Hoare is pretty good. He's a pretty good catcher in his own right. And the AI thinks that their backup, Pedro Mejia, thinks that he's probably the better of the two. Which, that's a look, but like that guy could be a starting Glovecock somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, let me message the Woodcocks.
Not if I get there first.
Not if you get there first. Indeed. I like this team. They're going to have some struggles if they cannot find some additional offense. Losing Medina, who's kind of a franchise piece there, that's going to sting. Maybe they can have a little fun reunion with your friend and mine, Victor Castaneda, who was the last big Woodcock to leave. But Willie Medina, he fell off a little bit last season, but he has been a 5.5 WAR kind of middle infielder. Really popular with the fans, smacks the ball for 30 home runs a year consistently. He's been Mr. Woodcock, and he's going to be playing somewhere else for probably a pretty big deal. So, sorry.
I'm sad.
I'm sad too. Love the Woodcocks. Moving along, Sunnyvale. Yep. What would you put under the tree for this team?
Probably some batting. I think they're quite similar to the Woodcocks in some degree. Like the batting's a bit Their pitching's pretty good, so at least I think it's decent.
Mm, not my favorite. Not my favorite indeed.
They also have 3 players who hit more home runs. That would have hit more home runs than the Bears team.
Yeah. Well, if you put Danny Ramirez and Lee Sung Lee together, they've hit 97 home runs, and the Bears hit 108.
So all we have to do is just say the top 3 home run hitters, and they've hit more than the Bears.
Yeah. But yeah, that's something. I think what I put under the tree is some consistency. And when I say that, I mean in regards to the performance from their young players moving forward as they kind of start breaking through, because this is a team that's been piling them up. They've been piling up those young lotto tickets. So some consistency for those players to hit the ground running, and maybe some consistency as in consistency in playing games. Actually playing the games, because this is a team that they had an entire core kind of obliterated by injuries. And when I say that, it wasn't like they completely fell off immediately, but it was something where one injury begat another injury, begat fragile, which begat another injury, which ratings drop. Like that happened on several guys. Like this was a very brittle team, and it kind of that's where they kind of faded from, was some of that buttoning. So some consistency in this newest core that's coming up, headlined by Lee Sung Lee, who is an absolute animal, as well as Danny Ramirez, and maybe some graceful aging for Ruggero Visario, Gator at catcher. Maybe a little bit better defense from him, Fernando Celadon. Get a couple of those kind of old veterans contributing with some consistency as well.
You can't spell Sunnyvale without brittle.
Indeed, but like I don't know that they're there anymore, right? Like a lot of their contributors appear to be like Danny Ramirez is fragile, but he's a left fielder. You know, Celadon's wrecked, but he's been wrecked. He was part of the last core here, right? Their third baseman's fragile, but like the fact that they've got like I guess 3 or 4 regulars that are fragile instead of everybody is
an improvement.
It's an improvement for this team. I don't know if they're going to get a lot of starts at Pablo Rodriguez, who played a whole season last year somehow. Same thing with Thomas Knudsen. But there's some talent. There's some talent here, and there's definitely talent in the system coming up. So I think Sunnyvale might be my early pick to jump up the standings this year.
Woodcocks.
Yep. It would be nice if it was the Woodcocks, but I see that team regressing instead of advancing. But
Woodcocks are going to make it to the World Series and win 4-3.
I hope. All right. Moving along to Newfoundland.
Rest in peace, Newfoundland.
They had a brutal season.
Brutal's being generous.
114 losses, kind of brutal.
Have you seen the like you click on pitching and you just see death?
I will say they have a pretty good looking prospect. They drafted him in 3rd round a couple years ago, and now Steven Olson is looking real nice as a ground baller. His pitches have come up a lot. Like he looks borderline playable right now. I don't know why he's still an A-ball at 22 years old, but that looks like a keeper. Like, yeah, the pitching looks bad, but there's guys coming up that could help potentially with that. I think that they've had some. I think the thing I would give them is some meditation tapes for the dressing room. I would want some meditation music to be playing.
Just get some captains. Just charm the team.
Because I feel like they often, because of the amount of losing, they often exacerbate the situation with the dressing room issues, and they tend to have some disruptive players or outspoken players that kind of contribute negatively in the dressing room. I think it's getting better there, but it's something that I think has helped contribute to their dismal showing. They also have, it appears, like 1 starter, so that's unfortunate. I think Arturo Perez is probably a guy you could keep running out there, especially like where you're at. I think he's not hurting them. Joel Janeo, Pep has just been trash since drafted. I think he might have gotten buttoned or something, but he has just been naughty good player there. 2nd overall pick.
He's only ever been out for 5 days in his career.
I don't know what happened then. He just never got it. Never got it.
13 years of playing baseball, and he's only been injured for 5 days.
That is wild. Oh, that's why I couldn't see his stats. I had it set to playoffs.
Do you know what's sad though? He has a career WAR of -1.2.
Okay, I take it back. They don't need some kumbaya tapes. They need some luck at the draft table. They need something to go right there. Because, like, when you're picking guys like Joel Janeo at second overall, and it just doesn't work out. Like, that sucks. And, like, honestly, at the draft, he looked pretty good. Like,
yeah.
I remember what he looked like at the draft. When was he drafted? 35?
36?
36. So in 2035, this guy had an upside of 60, 55, 55 with very high confidence. And the thing was, his current abilities were 40, 50, 35. So you don't look at that and go, well, I'm sure that guy's never going to hit 55 control. It's not a 20, 35.
Yeah.
Like, it's not, the stuff didn't look like it wasn't going to round around. So I just don't know what happened there. But like about 2039, so 3 years after the draft, it just started, his upside still looked good. His upside still looked good right up until, no, still.
He just still looks solid. He just doesn't know how
Yeah. Doesn't know how to, he started falling off in 2049, so last year. Fun. Super fun. I have no idea. That guy should not be this crappy. So I say for the Growlers, some luck at the draft board. It's not the only one. Who was the guy he picked over Lee Son Lee?
Oh.
Because like that was an issue as well, right? And I will say, like, for the record, I feel like the nature of that problem, Mike Tollefson, that's the one. The nature of that problem was why is he still in our ball? He was great in our ball last year. It's the how we were running the draft before the actual draft happens in game. So some of these developments or lack thereof, in the case of Tollefson, he's already been picked, but he wouldn't be if it was actually happening in real time. So like, I don't really fault him on Tollefson. We were looking at these guys, and Tollefson looked real good at the draft. Like, just before he got picked, like, I had a very high scout on him with 80 contact, 75 power, 55 eye, and, like, elite defense. So, like, it just basically plummeted right after that. He got picked, and then 2 months later, he dropped 25 in some of those stat upsides. You know? So, like, that was baited. He got baited there. So some luck at the draft table is what I would give the Growlers. And doubles every day so we can get through another losing season.
Just do it for the Growlers.
Do it for the Growlers, guys. Do it for the Growlers.
# do it for the Growlers.
Okay. Who we got? Where we want to go in the CL?
Right, let's go with the Castle Girls.
Oh no, we have to start with Cathegard?
I can't remember who was top. It's probably
Kirkland. Kirkland. Let's start with Kirkland. They had a great season. It looked like it was going into a good playoff, and then the wheels fell off. Ricardo Flores hurt.
Yeah, that might be a damaging blow.
Like, I mean, that was a massive swing. Like, I know I was a little tilted that Yalmar Gade went from like a 150 or 140 OPS plus in the regular season to a -6 in the playoffs, like a 150 swing. Ricardo Flores, Doberman, had a similar thing where he was like a 119 ERA plus in the regular season, and then in the postseason he was a 58. So like he was very ineffective. He lost 3 games. He gave up a ton of runs. He's walking a bunch of guys. He was giving up a huge amount of dingers. Like, it was a problem. So I think they've already traded like a franchise icon in Danny Ramirez. We kind of covered that going to Sunnyvale. So, what would I put under the tree for Kirkland? Some playoff luck. Some playoff luck, because there's teams that are lucky during the regular season. Kirkland kind of falls. They routinely outproduce what the expected is. They routinely outproduce in one-run games. I don't think they just find free wallet players at every position who just can hit and field. And like, there's not a player in their lineup that had less than 10 home runs last year. These guys would be absolute sluggers on the Bears. They also field good, you know, and they're just they're pitching. They find guys who can pitch just out of the ether, it seems like, you know. So like, I don't think they're unlucky in the regular season, but it never coalesces for like a playoff. They had one deep playoff run that got ended in the World Series in a snow delay. And I think what I put under the tree, some of that playoff BS that everybody else has been huffing, you know?
Yeah, some of that GAR BS.
GAR BS, Isotope BS, Motor City BS, like Shanghai BS. Just some BS. Let's get some playoff BS going for Kirkland. Or a free wallet third baseman, either or. Because like Gordon Warwick, who is very effective for them as a kind of an average starter, he wants like $20 million a year. So maybe finding a free wallet third baseman would help as well.
There's always booty camp.
There is always booty camp. Moving along, the GAR. What would you put under the tree for them?
More BS.
More BS.
More BS.
More powerful BS.
Make them stronger. You know, it's like Thanos.
Yeah, there you go. I think some consistency on run prevention would be nice. Not necessary, but nice.
I'm sure you'd appreciate it. I wouldn't.
Yeah. I just look at this team and like they have a very intimidating lineup. That is a very intimidating lineup. They had 3 silver sluggers. They could have had a 4th if the third baseman could have stayed healthy. Aaron Crack came out of nowhere to be an almost 30 home run player. He missed time too. Like he missed 50 games and he had 29 home runs, 2 WAR, 120 OPS plus. He's not gifted on the defending side of the ball, but that's what designated hitters for. Leandro missed half the season with injury, still won the Silver Slugger at second base because Zachary Dees got traded to the VL. But Artur Leandro had himself a season as well. Gutierrez missed like over half the season, still hit 24 home runs. Like they just up and down the lineup's pretty strong. It's difficult to find too many holes. Right field was a hole last year. Ho hum. So you get 1 free out, maybe, if that.
Yep.
From a guy that was 2.5 WAR the season before, so like, and has a reasonable chance to bounce back. Yeah.
Especially at the age of 24, like you sort of expect him to come back.
Yeah, but I think, and it's obviously early in the off season. This is going to be the kiss of death. So far, I think the GAR has been least affected by the players going out. Of the teams in this division.
Congratulations on 4th place.
Yeah, I know.
I'll see you on 0.474% next year.
Yeah, pretty much. I just mean, like, I know that the GAR also led in negative against expected runs against and all that, the win delta. -8 wins against expected. So, I mean, like, are they going to be unluckier there? I think the way they could be unluckier would be injuries. Lucky with injuries, unlucky with expected. So like, yeah, injury bug could strike. Like, I think that could take a big bite out of this team. I think there's a bunch of holes that if a guy were to go down in center field, that would be problematic. And as you know, 36-year-olds that are fragile tend to stay healthy.
Yep, that's well known.
Yeah, it's well known. It is a fact, a known fact. Same thing with like Gutierrez at third base, as he kind of chases 600 home runs.
Yep.
Is that he's 35. He's 35 and getting a little brittle. Wheels could fall off that cart anytime. Leandro's now fragile. Gomez is wrecked, the first baseman. Gade is fragile. He's been just pummeled with injuries throughout his career. to the point where he's lost 20 range against when he was in AAA. It happens. Brian Quinn is fragile. He tends to get hurt every few years. He gets hurt for a significant time. Like there's a lot of fragility here, and I think it could hurt them. So you kind of run into that, right? Where you go, oh, I hope that works out.
Hopefully you got a lot of plasters.
Hopefully I got a lot of what, rather?
Plasters. Band-aids.
Oh. Yeah. Do I have a lot of Band-Aids? Looking at AAA, do I have Band-Aids? Questionable. I think I got a third base solution. I think Joe Keegan is ready to play now. I think I got a shortstop solution too. Sergio Quintanilla. I think that might be the next big glove cuck shortstop.
Long live the glove cuck shortstop.
He's real close.
I need him actually. He can go with Casadilla.
Yeah, there you go. Quintanilla and Case Villa. But like I think that's going to be a really good fill-in. So even if those players go down, the big question is center field. If Beasley goes down, I don't think there's anything here that can step forward. I think Nasberg in AAA is the closest, but I don't think that's a guy that you'd want playing. I don't think you want him playing in the majors next year.
I mean, it goes from one extreme to the next on this.
Yeah.
You go from extremely good to very mediocre.
Yeah. Well, like I mean, if you start deleting like that's what we said about Springfield last year when they lost. It was like, well, yeah, of course, when they lose their three best players or two out of their three best players, like they have a trouble with the Galcigar. Yeah, you delete two really strong players off a team, it's going to look different. If Quinn and Beasley get hurt next season, like I don't think you can replace 11 WAR of players with dudes in AAA, nor should you be expected to have those players just sitting there, because if there's players that's worth 5 WAR in your system, like on your AAA team, like they should probably be playing. There's probably a dude you can squeeze out. Or you can flip them for something you do need. So, anyways, there you go. There you have it. Next up, LA. Let's do LA. 79-83 last season. Third in the Pacific. Struggled with bullpen. Big time bullpen issues somehow. Because it certainly wasn't their closer. Their closer was good.
I mean, bullpen is just a shit show of luck, isn't it?
It's got a really high degree of variability year to year. Like Delpino, Pyong-Kue Mai, like those players were both really good. Brody Mant was fine in the bullpen. Like, I don't see the guys that caused the problem, is I guess what I'm getting at here.
They've been taken over the wall.
Hey, looks like we were right about Yu Iwasaki. Won the 47 Napolio.
Yep.
With a 2-WAR season, and then immediately just was ass. He's had an ERA of 7 since then. So, you know, once in a while the Napolio voters get it right. What would I put under the tree for LA? I'd put health benefits. I'd put health benefits that they can use on like a bunch of masseuse or acupuncture or whatever they take to keep well, because there is some fragility here, friend.
The NHS is here to help you.
Yeah, there's 4 fragile. I think there's 4 fragile starters like for in their lineup, and like some of them are pretty key. Like Frank Bello is important to this team. Willie Gonzalez is important to this team.
Mitch Harris.
He traded one. He traded one of those fragile guys to Springfield. Won a championship there, but like you got to stay in the lineup every day. You know, it's like even this guy, this free wallet he got, Dino Bertetto, had an amazing rookie season. Like really strong rookie season. Looks like an absolute stud. He's fragile.
You got Mitch Harris on the injury list. Fragile. Albert Luna, wrecked. Yeah, wrecked. Who had a great. He pitched a whole season last year and was worth 4 WAR. Absolute madman. They're like, so I would say good health coming from health benefits being proffered to the group of people here. If you donate $6 a month, you too can sponsor an LA Blazer player. you too can help an LA Blazer player to become healthier.
Yep.
To be able
Indeed.
to play baseball once again.
They look really good offensively to me. And there's enough good pitchers here. Like if Ray Garby has a bounce back, like he just had unlucky results. His BABIP was really high. I feel like he was still pitching well. They could Uno Reverso this season very easily. Same thing with Amdahl. Axel Amdahl looked really good last year.
Yeah.
His results again were off, but like he looked good. Is there maybe something to be said for the defense in front of these guys as to why you have these starters getting bad BABIP?
Probably.
Who's to say? Who's to say? Don't know that they've got the best defense around these guys. Like shortstop looks like a hole.
Yeah, it's not great. It's okay. It's not the worst, but it's not the best either.
Yeah. Looks like he's moved Frank Bello to third base because his range dropped again.
Oh no.
So there you go. So they're using Zun Chang as a shortstop. I think Casanova is dead in center field. He is a right fielder now that happens to be playing center field.
I'm sure I
Although-
realized that move. Like he's 36, so
Maybe they play Lackinen in center field and shift your friend and mine to Christian Casanova to right field. Continue to squeeze some value out of that bat.
get the last few years out of him before he goes.
Some David Justice business there. But yeah, I guess, yeah. Fukuda might be pretty good. That might be a solution, like the 27-year-old minor league free agent signing.
Yeah,
Fukuda could be all right. He could play center field maybe if he's got 65 range.
he played.
He's got 60. He might be the right fielder. But yeah, anyways, moving along. Trav Dondo, 79-83, tied for third in the Pacific Division. Struggled a bit with runs scored.
Struggled
A bit with runs against. What would I put under the tree?
More exports.
More exports. Well, that would be for everybody, but I mean for them, something that's just for them. I would say a human cloning. I would put human cloning under their tree because it seems like they've got a couple guys that are just so amazing and some guys that are really not so amazing. So maybe if they could clone like a Juan Velez bat onto somebody else, maybe they're first in this division. Because like that's a 7-WAR player. He had 63 bombs last year. He's so good. What kind of idiot would trade this guy? Brent Kohut is really good. Like that's another guy that really is driving results. But like Matthew Miller, not that good. His shortstop, KZ Fan, not that good. Paul Tofting is okay. Fell off a little bit last year, but like he was worth only his glove actually preserved him because he was below 100 in OPS plus. Like Guillermo Moreno has fallen off a little bit as well. Still solid, but like it'd be nice if like Mark Watkins, for example, could meet his potential. Or if you could get Sugimoto, you could clone Sugimoto over top of Franklin Pagero. Some of these guys have been hurt pretty bad. It seems like they shift to a hitter's park with some dinger upside. Sold out for dingers, and now he's in trouble.
I know. That's why I don't fall for this bait.
Angus Goodwin getting $28 million for 4 seasons. Oh, sorry, $28 million for 3 seasons plus a fourth at 24. At age 33, that is a choice.
Yeah,
He was really good last year.
he
was really good since he was acquired as a salary dump from Shanghai. But that's a lot of cheddar for a guy that I don't have that much faith in, I guess. Continue.
I mean, he's durable and he's 33, so you never know. Anything's possible.
I've had his movement drop off by 10 in the last year. So I guess there's a difference between he looks all right. He still looks good. Like I'm not going to say he's bad. I just mean like 45 movement in Dinger Park could mean that his time as an elite pitcher is limited. Oh well. Anyways,
you'll find out when he pitches a no-hitter against you.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to happen. He's done it. He's going to come close. He's definitely beaten me a whole bunch. I wonder who would have. I wonder who brought that guy into the league. Whoever it was probably shouldn't have traded him for whatever garbage player they got. Yeah, well. Springfield. What'd you put under the tree for Springfield?
A repeat button so he can repeat the last season again.
Bah! No, that's Zurich's thing. Can't give Zurich and Springfield the same thing.
Yeah, they're like twins, aren't they?
You're right, it's hard to tell which one of them's talking when they're talking in general. But like, yeah. I don't know. I'm just looking at this and maybe a shovel for all this BS. All this BS where all of a sudden Toshiharu Kato is a good center fielder. Like, get out of here with that.
I mean,
Armando Reyes is a 2-WAR catcher.
we all knew how good Springfield were gonna be. So
yeah, it's a good team.
It's
a good team. They finally like Jelle Klassen had a really strong season. Like he stayed healthy all year. He made 32 starts for the first time in his career. Alexander Slesser, 32 starts again, like a really strong season. Like I think both of those guys are on the ballot for Cody Holland. Takashita, always been good. He's only 30 years old. Guy's been there forever, but like he's just a consistent good starter that's not making a ton of money. $8 million's nothing for those contributions. They still have a really high-end closer as well, Flaubert Van de Beek, who had like a career season the year before, a 4.21 ERA plus. Get out of here with that. But yeah, this is a good team. It's a good team. They're going to continue to be a good team.
And they probably have the money to keep rolling.
What a bunch of BS. They're good at pretty much every position, right? Like
yeah, there's not
Jose Rivera's a reasonable outfielder. Hashimoto seems to have found a spot in left field. Alex Trevino still getting it done, even his defense falling off a little bit. Still very high-end shortstop. Like that guy had himself a World Series.
Who would trade him for like a third-round pick? You know,
I don't know. Nobody that's making the playoffs next season. Fernando Gonzalez is a pretty reasonable third baseman, even if he went full winter soldier upon getting to Springfield. He was the Finals MVP, not the World Series, but the CL Finals MVP. So pretty good team, and they saved some money with Velez being a free agent. Brent Gurley, still really good second baseman. Yeah, so I would say a shovel for all this BS. Being a good team, winning games. What is this BS? You're supposed to lose to the wild card. If I was actually going to put something, I'd say some continued health. This is a fragile club. It is a fragile team, and that could be the thing that kind of sinks them. It did the year before last.
That's the only thing that tends to stop them is the old injury bug.
Well, they hit bombs and they prevent runs, and they have an elite closer. So between that, it's difficult to get around it, right? It's difficult to generate runs versus them, and it's difficult to, even if you do score some runs, it's difficult to keep them off the board. Like adding Brent Gurley really diversified this. They're a good team.
The only way to prevent them from winning is playing in a park where you prevent home runs.
Yep, that is true. You could also just throw at their guys, because like they'd probably break.
Yeah,
most of them seem fragile. Like Hashimoto misses so much time. He's so good, but he also misses so much time. Fernando Gonzalez misses a bunch of time too every year. So there's a few guys that are pretty brittle. Now Velez is gone, so Velez was a wrecked player who was again elite when he played, but missed a ton of time. And they got a bunch of starters that are fragile. So,
they just want extra holiday.
Yeah, extra holiday. Well, they're gonna have some holidays after winning that championship ring.
That's true.
Moving along, Hannibal, 84-78, unexpectedly second in the Central. They scored runs, but they couldn't prevent them. Super weird for this franchise. It's usually the other way around. They actually got some pretty good contributions. They found themselves a right fielder in international free agency that they didn't even pay that much for. This wasn't a $5 million free agent. This was a $3.5 million. Great job. Tom Means broke through as an elite shortstop. Probably the second best hitting shortstop in the CL. That's pretty remarkable. Oscar Ljunggren, rather. Great season. 167 OPS plus. If he DH'd instead of playing left field, he probably would have had more than 4 WAR. Carlos Saez broke through as a third baseman as well. in his really second full season. So there were a lot of guys that played really good. Antonio Brando used to be the best bat on this franchise. Full stop. It was Secchi and Brando were the only two guys who could hit. And suddenly you look here and you're like, okay, Saez can hit. Okay. Like, Haviko can hit a bit. That's not a terrible player, especially if you're playing that guy like that's an outfielder. Probably not a center fielder, that defense, but like pretty good corner guy. Jungren, that guy can hit. Colcott, whoa, shit. Whoa, Colcott can hit too. So like Tom Means, like there's not really so many gaps in this lineup anymore. The other side of the ball.
There's a lot of gaps.
Other side of the ball. Yeah, they give up a lot of runs. They don't strike anybody out. They really rely on defense to kind of run prevent. And I know they tried to fix it last year by signing Makar Akalbakov, who we both kind of like.
Yep.
He did not pay like a lot in term, though. Like I will say, paid a lot in money, $22 million a year. Did not pay that much in term, only 4 seasons, and the last one's a team option. So if he continues to suck, because spoiler alert, he sucked last year, then he can part with him sooner rather than later. But yeah, he was big fall down from the previous 2 years with Rain City. Dropped like 3 WAR. That's a problem. For a small market team, that is definitely a problem. But they also have a good system. Like this team's been chilling its heels for a while, and they are probably ready to make some noise. Continue up through here.
They have 22 million to spend, so they have a decent amount to make some room for some pitchers.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I'm looking at it, and you probably... Who was that center fielder they had last year? Federico. Oh, yeah. See, Federico can hit too. Federico had a good year. I just... Yeah, see, Ruiz had a pretty solid year too. That's another dude that's going to break through. He's wrecked, but like... Whatever. Just there's players. They got some players. D'Armond played great last year. He hit a bunch of home runs. Didn't play a lot, but like they've got some guys that hit. I think what your problem there is that they don't have a center fielder. Since Chris Klontz left, this team's center field has been a little dismal defensively, and I think that hurts them a lot.
The era of Chris Klontz, they struggled. No Chris Klontz, and they ride the vibe.
Yeah, but I think they're probably better. This has been the best Hillbillies team that we've seen in a few years. I know they're Travis's nightmare, and they beat me up a few times, but like this team can actually hit now, and that's a little scary. I think that's a little scary. All right, Minneapolis. What would we put under their tree?
More Chicago Sloths.
More trades with Chicago Sloths. It's been a bit. It's been like a couple years since they pried something good out of there for a busted middle infielder.
That's true.
I feel good about David Perez. I feel like that has some high potential to get scooped. He's the right combination of not good at hitting and approaching the years where he's starting to earn some actual money. Like this is his first ARB year, so he's got 2 more years of ARB. That's the sweet spot. Not that good at hitting. Looks okay at defense, but if he drops 5 range, he's probably useless as a shortstop. That's the wheelhouse. It's time. It's time.
I would even play him as a shortstop because of his range.
He's good at everything else, though, right? Like he's still a plus defender, no?
Yeah. But like,
the results aren't there.
I think shortstop is very heavily reliant on the old
range. You're right. You are right. His results last year were kind of dismal at shortstop. So there you go. Might be time to move on.
Like with his defensive ratings, you're better off playing him at second base or third base. But
yeah, I wouldn't. Oh, why would you play that player at third base though? Like he doesn't
exactly.
hit.
You rather have someone who can hit and has decent arm and range, like Scott Costa, which he has at third base.
Yeah, exactly. And his second baseman actually hit the casing off the ball last year to some extent. He was a 3 true outcomes guy. Well, really a 2 outcome guy. It was a home run or a strikeout. He was not an average hitter, but he did hit 25 home runs. So that's impressive.
What the Monkeys really need is more Brian Mantons.
Oh my God, he's so good. Yeah. Matthias Sorensen actually struck out 27.2% of the time, which was a massive improvement from the season before. So, yay. Yeah. We can't talk about this team without talking about the monster that was Brian Manton. Second round pick in 2047. Oh, no. All right, let's take a look. What kind of terrible players got drafted before Brian Manton? Okay, Brian Manton, 36th. I know he was on my list. But. Oh, no. Okay, you want to see who I picked before him? Look up Luis Calderon. He's 24, playing A-ball. He's a third baseman. That was my only pick before that. And he just inexplicably immediately died. I don't know. When I drafted him, he was like 60 contact, 65 power potential, like 55 eye. Like, he looked pretty good. He was a switch hitter. The defense was a little weak. Like, I think he had 50 range. And he immediately dropped like 10 range. And all his potentials fell off till he's like this guy can't play major leagues. It's just done. That was a first round pick. Brian Manton, a second round pick, just dunks on him. Drinks his milkshake. 54 home runs, 150 OPS plus, getting on base at a 360 clip. He's so good. That is like, I don't think it's controversial to say that's the best player on this team.
Joke's on you. I picked two.
It's not even remotely close. Brian Manton is the best player on this team.
Joke's on you. I had about like 2-3 picks before him, and
I was being polite. Sia Song appears to be declining. Uh-oh. He didn't have any of those. He didn't have any of the right PEDs. He didn't have the Bill Rancourt PEDs. He had the Nelson Nielsen PEDs, where you die at age 30.
Well, it was
still had a great year. He had a great year. And yet he pulls this funny thing. I need to watch what he's doing a little closer, because like his good pitchers pitch way more starts. They throw 36 starts.
Yeah,
most teams it's 32. Yeah.
He always starts the highest rested.
Oh yeah. So it just means that his fifth starter's there for window dressing, and I think that might be the way.
Yeti out here giving people ideas.
Well, I just think that perhaps that's the way. Like if I can have my fifth starter throw fewer innings, I think that's probably what I need. Right?
Yeah. Allow him to start in relief as well, maybe. Like your fifth, and just have him as a long relief player.
So there's a funny thing. So in that East Side Hockey Manager that a bunch of us played in, there was this thing where you could not have three good centers. Like, you just could not. If you had three good centers, one of them would just inexplicably play bad. It was like a hard-coded thing. And I feel sometimes like that's how it is for starting pitching. You just can't have five good ones. Somebody's going to play like shit. No?
I mean, I struggled to get two, so I don't know how 3 or 4 feel like.
Fair enough. Yes. All right, so let's move on to Rain City. They were 68-94. They moved to franchise icon. Werfel almost bounced back hard in the second half. He was having a really kind of shitty first half. He had a 7 ERA halfway through the season. But he rounded out, had a great second half. So what would I give them? What would you give them? A time machine. Exactly. That's actually what I have written down. A time machine to bring back past Gutierrez at shortstop and past Werfel. And past D's is just current D's, but he plays for the wrong team now.
And then go fast forward to the future where all your team is your draft picks have developed into superstars.
I will say they do look pretty good. Like they're a prospect pool. They've got approximately 7 guys on the top 100. Like they burned it down, but they burned it down to get some guys. Now I will note that they have gone very young. with the guys they've been acquiring, the guys they've been targeting and acquiring in these trades. So it's very difficult to give a complete like thumbs up on some of that because we don't know what some of these guys are going to be. Like, can we count on Mathieu Dumas, who's currently 16? Bruno Hero, who is 18 and not playing well in rookie ball and is now suspended. Like, these are good prospects, but they're so far out, it's very difficult to broadcast their future. You know, it's difficult to forecast that. I get 60 range on Bum Kim. So, like, there's a big difference between the second best prospect being a center fielder or being a right fielder. Right field's still important, but it's not quite the same thing as that stud center fielder. So they've got a really nice prospect pool. They picked up some shortstops too, like a third round in the draft. They got Peter Agar, who looks like a pretty cromulent shortstop prospect. He's 21 already. So, like, he's going to be there sooner rather than later. Maybe Gutierrez only has to last a couple seasons until Agar's ready. Game thinks he'll be ready next season, like in 2050.
Agar's a second baseman or a third baseman. Don't at me.
Well, I guess. I just mean, like, he's got 70 error, 70 DP, 65 range. I think he can play shortstop. Especially if he hits, like, those offensive upsides, like the 50 to 45 and everything. Add a couple steals here and there. Like, yeah, for sure. That guy can play shortstop.
No, refused. Hey, anybody that's 65 or less at shortstop with range?
Yeah, I guess. Like, he's 65. But I just...
well, for me, it's 60, oh no.
Is it 60 for you?
Yeah.
Oh, that explains it. I have it at 65. What's your scouting now? Is your accuracy very high?
High.
My accuracy is very high.
But I am also an ability cuck.
Oh, that explains a lot.
So I think...
But yeah, Rain City, Time Machine. Back to when they would be fighting for first in the division and not fourth. This is the fourth best team in this division.
But they have to wait about 3-4 years, and then it's all good anyway.
It's by design. Like, I'm not going to say that this team's bad accidentally. Like,
oh yeah, it's purposely.
They saw the writing on the wall and they accelerated that process. And the players that they've got are long range, so that's the thing, is that they accelerated the rebuilding process by filling the system with good prospects. But we're not even going to know what these guys are for 4 to 6 seasons. So, like, this could be a slow burn rebuild, and so be it. Anyways, moving along. Chicago. What would we give Chicago? I know what I put under the tree. Less trades with Minneapolis. But I think luck in the rebuild.
Find a shortstop.
Yeah, Hampus Amdahl was not good last year. He was -1 WAR. He held his own defensively. He was just a little negative there. It was really on the offensive side. His numbers have fallen like 20 to 40 points since Halifax days.
But, like, I think Chicago potentially could be okay, but they did lose a huge star.
Yeah, I don't know if he's gone. What does their budget look like?
10 million.
Oh, they only have 10 million. Oof. Yeah, okay, that guy's gone. Ponsuk is not coming back for 10 million. But the good news is that you can find other first basemen. You know, you're going to find other first basemen. Like maybe Marco Stevenin. Maybe you play Marco Stevenin at first where God intended.
Yeah, first base might be a better slot for Stevenin.
And then you're just shopping for a bat, right? And you actually have a guy, Jun Ho Oh. He's a terrible defender. Like, just an awful defender. He could also play first base, maybe. Like, his infield defense doesn't look as bad as his outfield. So maybe that's a guy you try at first base as well. You could train him in spring training or something. But he's a guy. He could fit that, at least right now. You maybe want someone better, but he could certainly... He's one of those players that could have an outlier year where he's good. Like, real good. So, there you go. I don't know that they're the best team in the division. We'll see. Like, that's the thing with this division. It is extremely variable year to year. I think the Zabbies and the Expos are clearly worse than the Motor Cities and the Chicagos, but you could see a miracle run. Like, the Zabbies have some good players. Montreal could have like a weird pitching year where they just go off and be amazing. That's certainly possible.
The Eastern Division is a shit show.
It is. I don't know what's going to happen here. I think it depends on how they run their offseason. Motor City has a ton of money. Keep that in mind. So, like, I think right now Chicago might be a bit better. They're currently shopping Gayassi. So they've already lost 5 WAR. Martin Polnicek's gone. Mike LeBron, who is an expensive reliever, he didn't have he had an okay year, but he's gone. So they lost some players in Chicago. And they don't have the money to replace them. If they trade Gayassi... Sorry, what were you saying?
There's the potential that it's just going to be Motor City first, and the other 3 are scrapping for draft picks.
Yeah, it's difficult to say, because like Gayassi's a free agent after next year. So he's got a big expensive year at 24.5. He was only worth 2.5 WAR last year. Fragile. Like, I don't know. I guess it depends on the pieces they get for Alarbi Gayassi, a season of him. But I mean, maybe you're looking at some of those trades that were made last season as the baseline. Carl Jolly or Matsumoto, both Pyongyang trades. I think both of those players had more value because they had more years of control. And obviously Gayassi's won a Holland Trophy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he won a Holland Trophy. So, like, that's something to be said. But there's something to be said for the length of time you're having a player for and how much of a chunk of your budget it's going to take. So I think with both those players, Jolly and Matsumoto, they took less budget, had more years of control. I think I probably slot Gayassi in between the two based on his last season and whatnot. But, like, I don't know. We'll see what he gets for it. If he gets some now kind of prospects that can fill some of those holes or step in at that DH or first base or second base, wherever you're trying to if you can get a shortstop as part of that, maybe it changes the tone of that conversation. But as of right now, I think with him going down only with $10 million to fill those holes, and Motor City with $66 million to fill a DH and a catcher, I think Motor City could pass them this offseason.
Yeah, definitely. I think Motor City are going to pass them this season anyway.
What would Motor City have under their tree? What would we put under Motor City's tree?
Bring back Beasley.
He doesn't need him. Look at the guy he got who replaced him. He's fine. He's fine as long as he just keeps getting franchise center fielders whenever he needs one.
I mean, just have In Visor and Chris Beasley together.
Oh yeah, right field Beasley. But the thing is, he also got really good outfield defense. Like Yoshisha Sugimura was approximately average with this stick. And then he was a Gold Glove caliber in right field. He stole a bunch of bags. Like, it's not my kind of player, but he's a good player, I think. Same thing with Jonathan Rios. Like, this is the embarrassing level of riches that Motor City has in the outfield. Look at Jonathan Rios, look at his numbers, and look at his defense, and be like, why does this man have 2 center fielders? So many teams don't even have 1 center fielder. And Motor City's just like, whatever, I'm going to run him at left field too.
80 defense left field, let's go.
Yeah, right. So he won the freaking Gold Glove in left field. He's a positive zone rating center fielder, and he's a approximately 100, a little bit better than 100 OPS plus guy, weighted runs created guy. Has a little bit of pop in the bat. He's not slow on the base paths. He can take a walk. Like, that's a good player. Motor City's got a pretty good outfield, man. And Tom Caulfield, did you see that? They already got their present. Tom Caulfield signed 10 years. Cone retired, and then they took the money from Cone, and then took some of it off the top, and then gave the rest to Caulfield. And I think that's actually the right call.
And he's only having to pay 19.5 at his peak.
Yeah. I mean, for like maybe later on, we're like looking at that kind of like the Secchi trade if he's fragile and struggles to stay on the field or whatever it may be. But like if we look at this player, he's hit so far in 3 full seasons. He has hit 97, 120, 132 home runs. 132 home runs across 3 full seasons. He's walked a lot of times too, 220 times.
210. 221, 228.
Yeah, there you go. So I just mean like that's a pretty good player, and he's largely stayed healthy, partially because he plays first base and whatever. He's not stealing bases or anything. But no, he's that's a good player. They locked him in for a long time. They got a good outfield. I think the rest of their infield is a little bit under development. Like, I don't love the options at shortstop. I don't think their shortstops are any good. Timo Boom, I would make fun of, but like, who really won that? Timo Boom hit better than Yalmar Gade and Steve Beasley put together.
Yeah. The thing is also for Motor City, they have like 61, 70 million to spend as well to improve their.
Well, the thing is, I know they re-signed a bunch of their guys like Craig Kuss and Martinius Anderson. They signed them for less than they were making last year. So like Martinius Anderson's a 3-time champion. He's won the championship 3 times, and he obviously liked to stay in Motor City. He had an all right year last year as an approximately average starter. I don't think that's hurting you paying him $7 million. Bob Fuentes being kind of hit or miss. And I don't mean that in a good way. I mean like he has very much inconsistency from year to year. That one, they only have 1 more year of it, but like that's another guy that could be an effective starter in that rotation. Like you're still turning up as an ace last year, and Holland threat. That was big. That was big for this team because they have a collection of guys after that. Like Isons is a top prospect. He had an okay debut last year. I think that's a guy that should be pretty good moving forward as a kind of number 2. Craig Kuss had a pretty solid little bit of a season with them last year. Again, they're not paying him any money. They're paying him $3 million to be a back of the rotation starter. Like, he's falling off a little bit at 35, just had some velocity dip. But I mean,
worst case scenario, you hide him in the bullpen, like.
Yeah, I mean, there's flexibility in that as well. But I'm just looking at this. They re-signed their closer. They're not paying him a huge amount. He took, I think, a pay cut as well from what his ARP reward was. But Silvio Van Zanten, he wasn't very good last year, but he could be good. Like, he doesn't look like he's a bad pitcher, you know? I just look at this. The big one that hurts is probably paying Tatsudo Yoshioka, Magician. He's signed for forever. He is signed for forever at $20 million.
Only 3 years, $20 million. It's not too bad.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, it's nothing if you keep making playoffs and just keep increasing that, though.
Mm-hmm. And I will say, I think he played better out of the pen last year. Like, he's been converted to a reliever, and I think he's fine as a reliever. I think that they can hide some of those worst pitches, and he's just basically a fastball, forkball guy with a slider he mixes in.
Yeah, I mean, he's got the control as well, so he's not going to give up many walks.
He does tend to get dingered a bit. And yeah, he does get dingered a bit, but you know, he's a fine reliever. You don't want to spend $20 million that way, but it's not quite like a David Cohn where he's just gone. Can't have him on the roster. I will say that, like, it sounds like it's David Edge season. David Edge, who somehow was a one-war catcher who was batted .304 the year prior. He might actually be the starting catcher here next year, which is alarming when they had like probably the best catcher in the CL. Santa Marta has figured it out in Motor City. Santa Marta has figured it out in Motor City, but it should be interesting to see if anybody signs that. Most of the time, people have not been doing very well in signing free agent catchers, especially guys into their mid-30s, late 30s. Santa Marta's asking 5 by 20. It's a pretty big ask. I can see why Motor City walked away at that price point. Should be interesting to see if there's a way that you can slow play the market on that player.
Someone's either going to grab him early and pay like 15, 16 million, or people are going to wait out until he's like 6 million.
I don't know he's going to drop that much, but I'm sure that you could probably find this guy for 10 at some point. But I mean, like, who are the serial overpayers? If you look around at the people who like to overpay, they already got a catcher, right?
And the other ones that like to overpay have no money either.
So I'm looking and I'm like, okay, so New Forest is probably sometimes an overpayer. I don't think New Forest is going to sign this guy. Did you want to comment?
I'm waiting out.
You're waiting out. Like Isle of Man has sometimes struggled with their free agent dollars. They've got a catcher. They've got a better, maybe not a better, but they've got a catcher who can play. Newfoundland doesn't have any money. Okay, they're not going to sign him. Cape Breton doesn't have any money, and they have a catcher. So some of the free agent wild cards are not in this market. So I'm interested to see who could pony up there. Who's missing a catcher? Like,
there's not many teams that are missing a catcher. I know I'm one of them.
Yeah, well, it's one of those things where a lot of the teams have a guy. And you look at Santa Marta's history in pre-Motor City, he was a guy. So most teams, I think, look at the history there and go, well, that was a player that fit the team at the time, and I'm fine just running with a guy, because a guy is going to cost me less than $20 million. And has an equal, a reasonable chance of replicating a comparable amount.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm projecting.
I mean, I've already bidded on 2 catchers because I don't want to spend $22 million on.
I mean, like last year I got 1 WAR and 100 OPS plus out of my backup catcher, Tony Tejeda. And I got 1.8 WAR and 99 OPS plus out of my presumptive starter, Alex Ebelin, who's as old as the hills. But I just mean, like, I'm running 2 guys. So what is the difference between running a guy and signing a premium catcher? Well, just for the record, Santa Marta had a 103 OPS plus, 21 home runs. Yeah, he's good behind the dish. Like, don't get me wrong, he's a good framer, good defensively. He won the Gold Glove last year. He was an All-Star last year. Really good player to add, but I just mean, like, a lot of teams could probably get there by having their own guys.
Yeah, there's no point spending $22 million for someone you can almost do a similar job for less, or you can spread your money out to other positions that would provide more.
Yeah. But yeah. Anyways, did we put something under Motor City's tree?
I thought we did. Oh yeah, mine was another Chris Beasley, just so we can have.
Oh yeah, Steve Beasley is the guy's name. Okay, my thing would be, I would like a Christmas Carol for Santa Marta. I want three Christmas ghosts to show him what happens to his career if he didn't go to Motor City. Say he signs for a reasonable contract, because I think it's one of those situations where the best place for him is probably Motor City.
Yep.
But it's only the best place for him if he gives up a little bit of cashola. Anyways, moving along, Montreal Expos. Or as I like to call them, the CL Woodcucks. They're not lucky enough to be a Woodcuck. But they struggled last year. 69-93. They had multiple good pitchers out for the season. They lost both Rascal Mayboroda as well as Swami Pakaranen. Both of those players got hurt in the midst of a pretty good season. They traded their longtime closer, Yarvi, to get the Gar. Struggled to score runs, struggled to prevent runs, struggled to defend. What are we putting under their tree?
Well, it used to be a warning sign saying choking hazard.
Every time I can think of complaining about luck, sometimes I'll talk to Montreal. I'll be like, "God damn, I'm unlucky," and he's like, "Yes, now try doing it 6 years in a row." It's like, you're right.
Anybody that complains about luck in this league has to go.
I think it was just last year where I was looking at it and like, how I could miss the playoffs and I'm -8 wins. Guy's falling. But like, really, at the end of the day, if you're not doing it every single year,
I mean, Montreal are gonna come good pretty soon. They got Dwayne Gifford and Kevin Nichols coming soon.
Yeah, they've got some good prospects for sure. Dwayne Gifford looks great. Beefsteak looks like a really high-end shortstop. And when I say that, like, I mean, his floor is already a good starting shortstop because he's got the glove and he's got an above average, like he's above average for a glove cuck kind of guy for his hitting.
Yeah.
So we'll see what he does. He only played Double A last year. I think it's a slow burn for this player. I think this year he'll probably play Triple A. maybe break through at the end in September, play some games, and then come rookie of the year the following season at age 24. Not that I've thought about this at all. Romero looks pretty all right as well. He's coming along nicely. The artist looks like a real good right fielder in the future. He's a captain too, which could help a lot. And Kevin Nichols, part of that Orlando Rodriguez trade.
Yeah.
O-Rod was pretty good for Chicago last year. He's been good. He's been good there. That's not a terrible trade for Chicago. Got 2 more years of this guy. They're going to get every useful bit of baseball out of him. But Kevin Nichols looked like he looks like about ready to contribute.
Give it
probably in right
year.
field, maybe left, but like he looks like he's ready to rake the ball, hit some dingers.
Give him 1 more year. Put him out there with Dwayne Gifford when it comes.
Oh, he's 23. I feel like this is a guy you could call up after May, once he learns to defend a little bit better. I think in spring training I'd make him play right field so he's powered up there, and then you just put him into whatever corner is struggling on the big league team. Because really, at the end of the day, like, what else you got? What are you playing in left field?
Whatever you can find in the free agency.
Like, I guess Matt Wabel should be a good hitter at least, but he wasn't last year. And I guess Sarah Watari is breaking through. Like, he could be good. He could be good. Wasn't last year, though. So, again, you've got a couple guys there that you're kind of hoping might break through. Jesus Garcia was reasonably good last year. He hit another 40 home runs, so that's nice. But, yeah, you're just kind of in a holding pattern until some of the kids start breaking through here.
Yeah, which might not be long, so it's all good for Montreal.
So what I would put under the tree are rotator cuffs, bulk rotator cuffs. I want to keep his 2 young pitchers, Pekarinen, Swami, and Rascal Maybaroda. I want to keep them in rotator cuffs for the next 10 seasons. That's what I would put under the tree if I was making a difference for Montreal.
Yeah, they're not coming back till May, July time either, so...
There you go. All right. Last but certainly not least.
The other member of the 69 Club.
Oh, man. Genzaburo Kurusu had himself a season, eh? Robbed Frost of an MVP, the Triple Crown. First hitting Triple Crown in league history. No, Kurusu too powerful.
$39,999,999 a year gets you this.
It certainly does. 5 more seasons, I guess, after this. 6 more seasons, so till 40. And then he's got 2 team options for age 41 and 42. He was so good last year, though. He's almost like a 200 OPS plus hitter. CL Toet. He's really good. I like Kurusu a lot.
I hate him a lot.
You would. I think he's probably a Hall of Famer at this point. Multi-MVP, got a Gold Glove,
I mean,
bunch of All-Star appearances, bunch of Silver Sluggers. Like, thing is, I have left fielders that are really good. Like, Yalmar Gade is exceptionally good for a left fielder, and they will never win hardware because Kurusu is so effing good. Like, he's like 50% better than even like the next tier. Like the yearly All-Star kind of guys, he's a tier above that. He's 2 tiers above that. I would say Josh Simmons. Like, I think the Zabbies already got their Christmas present. They already got their 7th day, like their late Hanukkah. They got their Kwanzaa all wrapped up in Josh Simmons because this guy looks so good. He's up to 85 contact bear. He's got 80 speed. He's got 70 gap power. Like, this guy is going to hit 1 trillion doubles.
That man is going to live a life.
He could become a captain too. He's a 65 defender in center field. Like, he's going to lead off for the Zabbies for the next decade and just be. Like, can you imagine setting the table? Josh Simmons 1, and then Kurusu right after him. Oh, lead off double for Josh Simmons, and then Kurusu drives him in. Okay.
That's a 2-run RBI for Kurusu.
Yeah, there you go. There's an RBI for Kurusu and Volnyov. I don't know why this guy blows. Doesn't make sense to me. He was bad again last year. He has yet to hit his weight. Oh no, that's not true. He hit his weight last year, barely. But he's 185 pounds, and his career best for batting average is 198. He's a sub replacement player right now, and that makes no sense to me.
There's a lot of things in this game that doesn't make sense to me.
There's no way that player should be that bad. Speaking of which, Manuel Seca. Looks like Zabi took on that contract from Shanghai, saved him 14.8 million for the next 3 years, but might have some upside. He looks like he's a good defender, and he looks like he might be able to hit.
Yeah. So that's a bonus.
Like he was about an 86 OPS plus last year, but about the same for weighted runs created. Could be a pretty good catcher. He's only 23.
And it's not long till Zabi's can bring up a few more players.
Oh yeah, the future's friendly for this team. Like is they keep getting as long as they keep advancing and keep doing their thing, like they've got some, like that Simmons guy's already one of their 3 best players. He's so good. Josh Simmons is going to take the league by storm next season.
Castella's going to make a superb shortstop, and Erzvela is a third baseman. Or even...
Well, he's already got Villamil, who is probably the best fielding shortstop right now in the league. He's 21.3 zone rating. He won another Gold Glove last year.
I mean, 80 infield range.
Yeah, it'll do it, right? He's signed this guy. He's got another year after this. Like he's been for the Zabbies. He's been good for the Zabbies.
Like you can play, like you can keep Villamil at shortstop, but you can have Erzvela at third base and have Castella at like second base, and you're just gonna have nothing running through that infield.
Where's Erzveiler?
Single A.
Oh, it's gonna be a while before we see that, I guess, eh?
He's
Oh no, he's 21. Yeah, Erzveiler. I don't think Erzveiler has the bat to play third base. Like he looks very much like a defensive guy.
But I think he's gonna get like a solid amount like walks and a few singles. Like
he looks very similar to that Quintanilla guy that I found.
Yep.
Free shortstop or whatever. He looks very similar, both in offensive profile and in defensive profile.
I see him like a better Bill Selmy.
Really? Bill Selmy could steal bases though.
Yeah, but this guy will hit slightly better than Bill Selmy, if I remember.
I don't know. I think Bill Selmy had a reasonable offensive career. I think this guy's very much defensively oriented, but he'll hit enough to be an everyday player.
But like the best part is if Villamil gets injured, you have a very equally adept replacing shortstop, which no other team can say that they have.
Fair enough. I just think this guy's a little far out, right? Like, he looks like he should probably start the year in Double A.
Oh,
so like a promotion.
Yeah. You're not going to shove him into the major league just yet. He's
Double A, plays good half the year in Double A, then Triple A, and basically an ETA for when Villamil's contract's up. So I think just with the fragility of Villamil and the age and whatnot, you probably just ride that for the 2 years you've got him and take what you can get and then replace him with Erzveiler within the organization. There's some good prospects here, man.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Like even that Roland Schwartz he got from international free agency. I don't think that guy was that good when... Yeah, okay.
The Eastern Division looks bright.
He immediately exploded upon being signed, it looks like. And he's fallen off a bit, but that's a pretty nice lotto ticket. And you're right, Castella's coming up as well. It's like the Zabbies have prioritized drafting and developing shortstops, and damn it, they're going to get one. They're going to get one.
It's like teams who try to prioritize the starting rotation pitchers.
I don't know what kind of idiots do that.
Yeah, I'm not going to name any names, but there's quite a lot of them in this league.
I know, I'm one of them.
Yeah, you're definitely one of them. And I laugh at you every time an arm explodes and you cry to me about it.
Well, I mean, it happens to me more often than most teams, I think. Like, if you look at my draft history, there's been so many guys that started breaking through and immediately died. Or, like, Stu Zufelt was durable when he got drafted, and he just had 3 season-ending surgeries in a row, and he's dead. 6 overall.
What have I always said?
Yeah, no, like, I understand the risk inherent, but the thing is, like, what else are you going to do?
Just keep
like, your options are... Well, I already do that. But your options are, like, where are you going to get arms from? Because you do need pitchers. You don't need to set the world on fire with pitchers. You don't need to have the best pitching, but you need to have somebody that can throw the ball without it getting smacked out of the park occasionally.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So, like, where if you don't draft and develop your own, where are you getting them from? You're trading for them, and they're expensive. They're expensive on the open market. Like, I know this because I my guys kept dying to injury, and I haven't had any pitchers come up through my system aside from Justin Brophy, who I immediately traded for a slightly better pitcher, a very much better pitcher. Like Carl Jolly proved that this year, I guess. But I just mean, like, it's expensive to acquire pitching. Look at Ricardo Flores with Kirkland. Like, it cost a lot to get him out of Rain City. The asking price on Raymond Werfel, despite his having a 7 ERA and being 35 years old and making $24 million, it was really high. It was like a couple top hundreds, first, second. Like, the asking price on arms is high. It's super high. So it's one of those things where you understand that a lot of the arms are going to die off in the system, but you still kind of have to roll the dice anyway, because if one gets through, if a couple get through because you continually pick them, you're saving yourself from having to hit the trade market, you know? What did Slesser cost? What did Alexander Boss cost? Like, what did Matsumoto cost?
Dignity.
Cost a top 10 pick. And like a pretty good pitching prospect in their own right? Like a top 100 pitching prospect and a top 10 pick for Hidehiro Matsumoto. Pitching's expensive. The reason we keep going like moth to flame and picking those pitchers despite knowing their arms are going to fall off, it's that it's expensive. And if you can bring one up through your system and draft and develop and all that, like, you know that. You've been paying first round picks for guys.
Hate pitchers. Why can't they learn to throw not to injure their bloody rotor cuffs?
Rotator cuffs, yeah. But I just mean, like, Kazfila. You paid for Kazfila. You paid for him, right? Like, you paid good prospect and probably a first, wasn't it?
Yeah, good prospect in the first.
Castaneda. What'd you give up for that?
2 firsts. 2
firsts. Like, there you go. How many wins above replacement have you gotten from these players?
5.5 from Castaneda.
Yep. In case Villa, you've gotten 4.6. Yeah, there you go, 7.
And I also missed the season because he lost an elbow.
Yep. Pitching's expensive, kids.
2 players.
It's unpredictable.
2 players have lost 2 seasons due to a season-ending injury.
There you go. But anyways, pitching's expensive. Off-season is going to be exciting as we continue to go through the paces here. We should probably wrap it up. I feel like we've been going for a couple hours. Easy. I have no idea. I haven't been timing this time.
2 hours and 6 minutes.
Oof. All right, well, I think that's probably it. So, from both of us, I guess, happy whatever you say. Happy winter solstice. Have a great, safe holidays, especially if you're driving in areas that have a bunch of snow.
You can go to Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, Buzzsprout, and YouTube.
Have fun, kids. Hopefully everybody gets something under their tree. And everybody can have BS. If everybody has BS, then nobody has BS.
Well, that's me screwed. See you later.